Did you know some of the deadliest organisms on Earth aren't snakes, spiders, or scorpions, but caterpillars, tiny, silent, covered in soft hairs, yet capable of causing internal bleeding, organ failure, or heart attack-like symptoms with just a single touch? These innocent-looking creatures have killed soldiers, blinded hikers, and sent entire villages to the hospital. And today, you're about to meet the worst of them. Welcome back to Top Wonder, the channel where we explore the strangest, deadliest, and most unbelievable creatures on the planet. Today, we're counting down the 10 deadliest caterpillars in the world. They don't roar, they don't chase, and they don't bite, but their bodies are covered in tiny biological weapons that even doctors fear. From venom that turns your blood into liquid to stings that feel like your bones are breaking, these caterpillars prove one thing: danger doesn't always come with fangs or claws. Sometimes it's wrapped in soft hair and bright colors. Let's begin. Number 10. Hickory-tussock caterpillar. At first glance, the hickory-tussock caterpillar looks harmless, a fluffy white cotton ball with black spots crawling along tree branches. Children and curious adults are naturally drawn to it because it looks soft, clean, almost petable. But every white hair on its body is actually a hollow needle tipped with irritating toxins. When they break off in your skin, they act like microscopic splinters, releasing chemicals that cause itching, burning, swelling, and angry red rashes. In mild cases, the reaction looks like a bad case of poison ivy. In severe cases, victims suffer nausea, headaches, watery eyes, and difficulty breathing. There are reports of schoolyards in Canada and the northeastern United States being closed after outbreaks when dozens of these caterpillars fell from trees onto benches, playground equipment, and picnic tables. The hairs cling to clothes, skin, pet fur, and even car seats, meaning the sting can happen long after you've left the tree behind. It doesn't chase, it doesn't attack, but one careless touch can leave you scratching, burning, and gasping for days. Number 9. Spiny oak slug caterpillar. The spiny oak slug caterpillar looks like a tiny neon gummy candy crawling across a leaf. Its body is flattened, decorated with bright patches of green, yellow, orange, and sometimes electric blue, making it one of the most beautiful caterpillars in North America. But along its back and sides are rows of sharp, branching spines filled with venom. Brush against it, and those spines snap off under your skin, injecting toxins that cause intense burning, throbbing pain, and radiating numbness. Victims often describe the sting as feeling like hot metal pressed into the skin, followed by swelling, redness, and in some cases, chills and nausea. One gardener in Virginia accidentally leaned her forearm against a leaf covered in spiny oak slug caterpillars. Within minutes, her arm ballooned in size, covered in raised red welts, and she was rushed to the hospital when she began to feel dizzy and short of breath. They're small, quiet, and cling to the underside of leaves, where you're least likely to see them. The only warning they give you is their bright color, and by the time you notice that, it's usually too late. Number 8. Io moth caterpillar. The Io moth caterpillar is a bright green caterpillar with bold red and white lines running down its sides, like it's wearing a tiny sports jersey. Its body is covered in branching spines that look more decorative than dangerous, but each spine is a loaded needle of venom. When those spines pierce the skin, they release toxins that cause almost immediate burning, sharp pain, and localized swelling. In many cases, the pain spreads beyond the sting site, radiating up an arm or leg, making it feel heavy, stiff, and difficult to move. Some people report headaches, nausea, and dizziness, especially after multiple stings. A group of campers in Tennessee once collected Io moth caterpillars in a jar, thinking they were harmless. 3 children ended up in the emergency room with swollen hands, red streaks spreading up their arms, and throbbing pain that lasted for hours. These caterpillars often rest on shrubs and low branches at exactly the height where human hands reach out for balance or support. You won't hear them, you won't see them, All you'll notice is the sudden, searing sting that follows. Number 7. Saddleback caterpillar. The saddleback caterpillar looks more like a tiny cartoon character than a real animal. Its body is bright green with a bold brown saddle patch in the center and eye-like spots that give it a strange, almost goofy expression. But ringed around that saddle, along its sides and rear, are clusters of venomous spines capable of delivering a surprisingly serious sting. When those spines break off in your skin, they release toxins that cause immediate sharp pain, followed by intense burning, swelling, and red, inflamed patches. In more serious cases, victims experience headaches, nausea, joint pain, and generalized weakness. A student in Ohio once brushed against a saddleback caterpillar while reaching into a shrub next to her school. Within minutes, she was crying from the pain, her arm went numb, and she was taken to the hospital with chest tightness and difficulty breathing. The saddleback's danger lies in how well it hides. It blends into leaves, sticks, and bark, and often sits perfectly still, waiting not for prey, but for an unlucky hand, arm, or leg to brush past. Number 6. White-marked tussock caterpillar. The white-marked tussock caterpillar looks like something designed in a fantasy video game. It has a red head, a yellow body, tufts of long white hair sticking out in all directions, and for toothbrush-like white towers on its back. It looks ridiculous until it stings you. Those tufts and hairs are loaded with irritating toxins. When they make contact with skin, they can cause severe itching, burning, painful rashes, and fluid-filled blisters. The hairs can also become airborne or detach easily, sticking to clothes and continuing to cause reactions long after the caterpillar has gone. In some people, the venom triggers systemic symptoms like headaches, nausea, dizziness, and even asthma-like breathing problems. In parts of the northeastern United States, there have been multiple reports of people developing serious dermatitis just from sitting under infested trees where the hairs drifted down like invisible dust. The white-marked tussock doesn't have to sting you on purpose. Its weapons fall from the sky, land on your skin, and do the damage all by themselves. Number 5. Asp caterpillar. The asp caterpillar, sometimes called the Texas asp or poison caterpillar, looks like a tiny, fuzzy mouse without legs. Its thick, silky coat ranges from pale cream to rich golden brown, and from a distance it seems like the softest thing you could ever touch. But beneath that fur is a forest of venomous spines. Each spine is a tiny syringe filled with potent toxins that cause severe, radiating pain. Victims often say it feels like being stabbed with a hot knife, then hit with waves of throbbing agony that spread into the chest, back, and abdomen. Some stings have been mistaken for heart attacks because of the intense chest pain, difficulty breathing, and sweating that follow. In one case in Texas, a young boy simply brushed against a railing where an asp caterpillar had been resting. Within minutes, he was vomiting, shaking, and unable to use his arm because of the pain. The sting can also cause headaches, fever, swollen lymph nodes, and in rare cases, seizures. It may look like a ball of fluff, but this is one of the most dangerous caterpillars in North America. Number 4. Monkey slug caterpillar. The monkey slug caterpillar looks like a tiny alien glued to a leaf, a flattened, hairy creature with strange arm-like extensions that make most people think it's a spider, a leaf fragment, or something completely harmless. But underneath those tangled tufts are venomous spines ready to sting anyone who accidentally brushes against it. Contact with this caterpillar causes sharp, burning pain followed by swelling, redness, and a hot pressure that spreads across the sting site. Some victims report headaches, nausea, and radiating nerve pain that lasts for hours. A gardener in Pennsylvania once touched one while clearing leaves and felt intense, shooting pain up her arm. Convinced she had been stung by a wasp, the monkey slug doesn't attack, it relies on camouflage and surprise. But one accidental touch is enough to reveal why this bizarre creature earns a place among the world's most dangerous caterpillars. Number 3. Giant silkworm moth caterpillar. The giant silkworm moth caterpillar looks like a typical green caterpillar at first, but a closer look reveals a terrifying detail. Its body is covered in sharp spines tipped with droplets of venom. This species is found in parts of South America and has been directly linked to multiple human deaths. Its venom attacks the body's clotting system. Instead of forming scabs and sealing wounds, the blood becomes thin and useless, leaking into organs, tissues, and even the brain. Victims may notice bruises appearing out of nowhere, bleeding gums, nosebleeds, blood in their urine, and extreme weakness. In one documented case, a farmer brushed his arm against a tree trunk covered in these caterpillars. At first, he felt only mild irritation. By the next day, he was in critical condition, bleeding internally and suffering kidney failure. Doctors discovered that his blood could no longer clot at all. This is one of the few caterpillars for which specific antivenom exists. Without it, the odds of survival after a heavy sting are frighteningly low. It doesn't look like a killer, but it absolutely is. Number 2. Backshelter processionary caterpillar. The backshelter processionary caterpillar is famous for marching in long, hypnotic lines along tree trunks and forest floors. It looks almost cute, a train of fuzzy larvae following one another like a tiny parade. But each caterpillar in that parade carries a weapon that can injure without ever touching you. Its body is covered in microscopic urticating hairs that detach at the slightest breeze. These hairs float through the air, land on skin, eyes, and lungs, and deliver toxins that cause severe itching, burning, rashes, and conjunctivitis. In more serious cases, they trigger asthma attacks, throat swelling, and dangerous breathing difficulties. In Europe, entire schools and parks have been closed because these caterpillars nested in nearby pine trees, showering the area with toxic hairs. Pets that sniff or lick them can suffer necrosis of the tongue and mouth, sometimes dying from the reaction. The worst part? The hairs remain dangerous long after the caterpillars have gone, clinging to bark, benches, and playground equipment. You don't have to touch this caterpillar, you just have to be where it has been. Number 1. Lonomia obliqua caterpillar. At the top of our list is the deadliest caterpillar ever recorded, the Lonomia obliqua, also known as the assassin caterpillar. It doesn't look particularly impressive, just a brownish-green larva blending in with tree bark. But inside its spines is a venom so dangerous that it has killed dozens of people and permanently injured many more. The venom destroys clotting factors in the blood, causing a condition called disseminated intravascular coagulation. Instead of clotting where it should, the blood clots inside vessels and then runs out of clotting ability entirely. Victims begin to bleed from their gums, nose, urine, and sometimes into the brain. They may feel headaches, abdominal pain, dizziness, and weakness, then suddenly collapse as their organs start to fail. In southern Brazil, people have been hospitalized, and some have died after simply leaning against a tree where a cluster of Lonomia caterpillars was resting. In one case, a teenager died less than 48 hours after contact, despite receiving medical treatment. Hospitals in affected regions now stock specific antivenom just for this caterpillar. Few other insects in the world have earned that level of fear and respect. Tiny, camouflaged, and silent, this is nature's most lethal caterpillar. So, which caterpillar shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next countdown might save you from something deadly hiding right in your backyard.